Hola clase, esto es el repaso del el examen parcial or the midterm. So we have the video feedback now for the midterm. I should have all the midterm grades posted in the next day or two, but I wanted to give you this feedback. All right, so I'm going to go through and give you some sample answers, right? And there are sometimes other possibilities, so don't think that what I'm saying is the only possibility. If you have any other questions about what I cover, you can definitely email me or call me or stop in if you're on campus and we can go over it in more detail. So write what you know about Cuba and the Dominican Republic by completing the following statements. And so these are going to require subjunctive, right? So ojalá que la gente del Caribe, gosh, what can you say? Really anything in the subjunctive, right? So ojalá is I hope that, or literally God grant that. All the people in the Caribbean, let's see, tengan una buena casa, right? Or puedan viajar en las vacaciones, right? Or what else? Well, that's fine. Two examples. But anyway, in the subjunctive, right? And then, es bueno que la gente cubana, es bueno que la gente cubana it's a bit hard to come up with examples on the spot. Es bueno que la gente cubana esté cerca de los Estados Unidos. Well, that's a bad example, but anyway, it's anything in the subjunctive. Right? And es interesante que Cuba, que en Cuba no haya cadenas de Estados Unidos. Okay. Anyway, these are not interesting examples, but they are with the subjunctive, and that is what is required for these three examples. And then dealing with the Caribbean, Cuba and the Dominican Republic specifically. All right, so then complete Larissa's postcard to her grandmother who could not attend a family party with the present subjunctive or the infinitive from the verbs. In English, to be used each verb only once. Celebrar, poder, reunirse, sentirse, and venir. So, querida abuela, me alegro mucho que tú te sientas mejor. La fiesta del aniversario de papá y mamá fue hermosa, pero fue una pena celebrar una fiesta sin ti. Lo importante es que ahora te sientes mejor. Me gusta que toda la familia pueda, se reúna para celebrar los momentos felices, pero si lo hacemos el año que viene, temo que Julián no pueda estar con nosotros porque probablemente vivirá en Chile. Bueno, abuela, nos vemos en unos meses. Me alegro que tú vengas a mi graduación en mayo. So, the ones that require subjunctive, which is the number one, it's because there's a que there which introduces the next clause. Here, in this sentence, la fiesta de aniversario de papá y mamá fue muy hermosa, pero fue una pena celebrar una fiesta sin ti. There's no que to introduce the next clause, so you don't need subjunctive. Right? The anniversary party of mom and dad was beautiful, but it was a pain. It was a shame, rather, that you were not there to celebrate. It was a shame to celebrate a party without you. Okay. Here we go. Me gusta que toda la familia se reúna. So I like that the whole family gets together. Again, there's the que, which introduces the next clause, which has to be in the subjunctive. And then temo que Julián, so here again is the que, introducing the next clause for pueda, and the same thing here. All right. So it doesn't mean that every time you have a que in a sentence, you need subjunctive afterwards, but in this particular example, those are your two options, present subjunctive or the infinitive, and it was written in such a way that these clauses with que do require subjunctive, but not all clauses with que require subjunctive. These do because they are the emotional reasons, right? I'm glad, I like, I'm afraid that, I'm glad that. So those subjunctive with emotions is the use here. All right, and then Begonia and Yolanda are visiting an art exhibit. Okay, complete their conversation with the affirmative or negative expressions in the list. Do not repeat any expressions. Okay. Me encanta este cuadro. ¿Te gusta a ti? No, a mí no me gusta. Let's see. I think the best one there is nada. I don't like it at all. Literally, I don't like it, nothing. But of the ones listed here, that's the only ones. Oh, I'm sorry, actually, there's another one that is different. It's tampoco. Yeah, that's actually better. No, I don't like it either. Right, so tampoco is the negative version of también. So do you like this painting? I love this painting. Do you like it? She says, no, I don't like it either. No, tampoco doesn't work. I had it right the first time. It's nada. No me gusta nada. Okay. Yeah, because she does like it, so to say I don't like it either wouldn't make sense. It's nada. That was correct. It's the other one that will work. Okay. And then, ¿qué opinas de este autorretrato? No me gusta. Okay, that's where tampoco goes. So then what do you think of this self-portrait? I don't like it either, because she didn't like the other one. So that's where tampoco goes, tampoco being the negative form of también. ¿Te gusta este mural o ese? Do you like this mural or that one? No me gusta ni este, ni ese. I don't like that one or that one. Neither that one, neither this one, nor that one. Ni and ni is neither, nor is the best translation for that. No hay ningún cuadro que te guste. There's no painting that you like. Sí hay algunos cuadros bonitos, because this is positive, right? But for example, the landscape of that painting is spectacular. Oh no, that's horrible. You and I never agree. That's not true. Algunas veces, sometimes we agree. You're right. Okay. So then we're on. Okay, Jose is talking about his upcoming vacation plans. Complete a sentence logically with adjective clauses using the indicative or the subjunctive. All right, so it depends on the sentence whether you need subjunctive or indicative, right? In this one, quiero un lugar que. So that's a non-specific thing you are referring to, so you have to use subjunctive. Quiero un lugar que no sea muy caro. Right? So when you are referring to a non-specific or non-existent thing in the second clause, as you are here, you have to use subjunctive in Spanish. Okay. So tengo una reservación en un hotel que. So I have a reservation in a hotel that. So this is going to be indicative because it's a specific hotel. You already have the reservation. So it's a specific hotel, so you just use indicative. So I have a reservation in a hotel that is near the beach. Okay, está cerca de la playa. All right, I need to rent a car that. All right, so again, that's a non-specific car. I need to rent a car. I don't know which one. I need to rent a car that something. So say use poca gasolina. Okay, and this is putting capital letters, which you shouldn't be doing that. Okay, so I need to rent a car that uses little gas, and again, that's subjunctive because it's a non-specified car that you're referring to in the next clause. All right, so conozco a muchas personas que, so I know many people that, so if you know the people, they are people that exist. It's not non-specific or non-existent, so you just use indicative. Conozco a muchas personas que viajan frecuentemente. Whatever. Right, so there you don't need subjunctive because they're people that you know. They're not non-specific or non-existent. This one, no hay ningún lugar que, there's no place that. Tenga todo. So there, it's a non-existent thing you're referring to, so you have to use subjunctive. There's no place that has everything. Okay, and again, these are just examples. You could say other things. But the idea is you have to have subjunctive when you are referring to a non-existent or non-specific thing or person in the next clause. Okay. Mentiras. Read the following text about lies and indicate the most appropriate response to each question. Okay. So, quiero irme de vacaciones con mi novio, pero no quiero decírselo a mis padres porque a ellos no les cae bien mi novio. Okay, this is actually just a reading comprehension. There weren't too many problems on this. I'm not going to go through all this unless you have questions. You can contact me. Okay. Irene is on vacation for spring break and has left a note for her roommate Marissa. Complete the note with the conditional form of the verbs, appropriate verbs from the list. So conditional is what you would do, right? So in some hypothetical circumstances. So escribir would be escribiría. Just put the form there. Escribiría, right? You add an I-A to the end of the words without removing the A-R-E-R-I-R. Gustaría, habría, haría. Some of these are irregular. So hacer, for example, is irregular. You take out the C and you add C and you add ia. This one you take out the E and you add ia. Here is actually regular. And this one is also one where the E disappears. Right? You got ia. And this one also, the E disappears. And you add ia. So those are your forms, right? And then, of course, you have to conjugate for the correct subject. So querría, querrías, querría, querríamos, and so on, according to the subject in the sentence, right? So this first one here, water the plants. So podrías. See, this is, yeah, our roommate's just going to use the to form. Podrías regar las plantas, se me olvidó. Además, something help Jaime. Right, that would be good. Podrías, además, podrías would work. Let's go with te gustaría, maybe we'll have to change that. Te gustaría ayudarme, tiene un examen. Dije que yo lo haría. So I told him I would do it, but I can't. This is where actually gustaría goes. Me gustaría a ti, Anthony, ir al concierto de música andina. Dejé las dos entradas. Raúl y yo iríamos. Con mucho gusto, pero concierto es mañana y nosotros estamos de viaje. All right, and I guess you can reuse. You don't have to use each one only once. You can reuse them. So there would be your answers. Would you water the plants? Would you like to help Jaime with his math homework? He has an exam next week, and I told him I would do it, but I can't. Finally, would you like to go? You and Antonio like to go to a concert of Andean music? I left the tickets. We would go with much pleasure, but the concert is tomorrow, and we are traveling. All right, look at the following picture of a family dinner. Write 5 sentences describing it. Use the preterite and the imperfect to narrate in the past. All right, so this one, of course, has many possibilities, but the idea is you use preterite to narrate events that move the story forward, right? We ate, we drank, my fork fell on the floor, someone told a story, someone got up for 5 minutes. Things that move the story forward, actual events, that's preterite. And imperfect is describing, so things that tasted good, right? Someone looked nice. The table, the food smelled good. Anything that's like a description but not an actual event, that's in the imperfect, right? So I'm going to be pretty lenient on this section because preterite and imperfect is very challenging for English speakers. Certainly not going to master it in 3rd semester Spanish, but that's the general idea. Preterite are things that move the actual story forward, and imperfect are things that describe or things that are background information, right? Now, for example, if you say it was a dark and stormy night, that would be in the imperfect because those are not events that move the story forward. That's background information, right? If you say, I opened the door and I saw a man, those are 2 events that move the story forward. I opened the door and I saw a man. And then you say, if he was tall and ugly, that doesn't move the story forward. That's background information. The fact that he was tall and ugly does not move the story forward. It gives us additional information. That would be the imperfect. So that is the conceptual side of preterite and imperfect. But anyway, I will be fairly lenient. If you have correct forms anyway, imperfect and preterite forms, you'll probably get most of the points there if you do actually describe what's happening in the picture. Okay, and that's pretty much all the feedback I have. If you have any questions about what I went over, or if you want me to go over something that I didn't, for example, the reading comprehension one, please let me know and I'll be happy to do that. Hasta luego.